Hey guys, welcome to the show. Doing a nice little surprise question answered basically. So there's a question somebody asked me, and do you know what? I get this quite often. So today I thought, do you know what? I'm not going to delay this anymore. I'm going to answer this one question. So this is the question the brother asked me. Very interesting. So Bitcoin is the one only winner for you. Tell me, what about BSV? So this is the question he asked. And a lot of people ask me this very same question about why there are specific coins that I actually favor and other coins I don't, and specifically Bitcoin. Number one, so let me try and answer this, right? And I'm trying to do pointers so you understand exactly what's going on, right? It's not about Bitcoin, or it's not about BSV or Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Diamond or Bitcoin Gold. There's plenty of them, by the way. They're all forks, right, of Bitcoin. It's got nothing to do about any of those guys, ultimately, right? Whatever chain has the majority of the nodes, whatever chain is majority decentralized for me, right, is the chain I want to be on. Very simple. So as you can see, this is the Bitcoin node itself, right? And here you can see we've got half of the nodes being centralized here, half of the nodes here, other nodes here. This tells me that we can actually have a better chance of not having a 51% attack. And what I'm talking about 51% attack, for example, on the 4th of, this article was written on the 4th of August, right? And it was updated a few hours later, as you can see, right? What you saw was we had a Bitcoin SV suffered a 51% attack, and that means the miners, right, some miners basically decided to take control of the system and actually end up attacking and creating a situation where a lot of people could have lost a lot of money, because these guys could have easily said, right, we're going to kill Bitcoin or do whatever. Bitcoin SV I'm talking about, right? They could have done any one of those things, right? So please do understand, when it comes to certain things, right, why, like myself, why I'm actually slightly bearish, right, or something like this, right? Because I'm not bearish. I'll be honest with you. I'm not bearish. As I said, I will support any chain. So I don't want to read too much about this, but you can actually just search for Bitcoin SV 51% attack, and you'll see this is the latest, right? Happened just last week, basically. I'm not bearish or anything like this. I will support any chain that has the majority of the nodes and majority of decentralization, right? We know Ethereum is centralized, but it does have some mechanism of being decentralized because of how many miners there are, and it can't have a 51% attack. Obviously it can now, but it won't soon have that anymore once it goes to staking. So it doesn't matter who stakes it, who doesn't, right? So staking does solve some of these issues and, kind of legitimizes a lot of these coins. But when you look at, Bitcoin specifically, and why I support Bitcoin specifically more than anything else, it's got nothing to do with this being Bitcoin. It could be Bitcoin SV. As long as it's decentralized, as long as all the nodes are separated in multiple countries, and as long as I know that a group of miners cannot take 51% control, I'm happy. I'm happy. So that's what it is. I mean, you can have a bunch of people here collaborating and creating a 51% zone here, but then we've got enough nodes here, and some players are bigger, some players are smaller. We can take that, and that gives me safety, because remember, altcoins, and I call everything apart from Bitcoin an altcoin, right? Even Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Cash, even though they're the exact same protocol, by the way, guys. A few bits and bobs have been changed, but it's the same thing. Why I call them altcoin is because these guys, like for example Ethereum, we know that around 10,000 of these coins are powered by Ethereum. Are they really a crypto? Not entirely. They might be cryptographically secure based on Ethereum's code base, but they're just a smart contract on Ethereum. They're not really a crypto. They're an altcoin. They're in my opinion, they're all shit coins. Ethereum having an infinite supply currently having an infinite supply, no fixed supply or anything, it also becomes a shitcoin, because that means it's inflationary. Obviously we might see some sort of a deflationary mechanism or something happening over time, but it's not fixed yet. Once we have a fixed supply, we can trust it, right? It can become a crypto for us. So there are different fundamentals that I'm using, right? And I'm only supporting the biggest chain and the most secured network and the most decentralized network. That's why I support Bitcoin, and I don't talk about Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin SV or anything like this. And as you can see, I just showed you here, Bitcoin SV did suffer a 51% attack. And, I mean, think about this, wiped 570,000 transactions. Can you imagine how bad that is? right? So please do understand these kind of things, like why there are, there's no such thing as a Bitcoin maximum, right? Everybody supports Bitcoin, and also people who own the biggest chain, they got some of this for free anyway. Whoever succeeds is the Bitcoin. That's the key, right? Whether it's SV or whether it's NV or there's whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the biggest chain and the most decentralized chain that everybody accepts is the main coin, and that's what we should be all supporting as well, because that's where we're going to be putting our money. Remember, I always say, right guys, you make money on the altcoins and you save your wealth and you preserve it in Bitcoin. And for me, that means any chain. It doesn't matter whether it's Bitcoin, this particular one, or Bitcoin SV or anything. Whatever one the consensus is, whoever is being the most supported is the king for me. So it's not necessarily this particular one, because this icon could have been Bitcoin SV if everyone agreed Bitcoin SV was the one, right? Or Bitcoin Cash was the one. That could have been the one. But as you can see, majority did not. Majority of the miners decided to keep this as the number one. This is why this is still number one. And this is why these guys are hovering around and kind of leeching off what Bitcoin is doing. So that's what it is, guys. Solana, I mean, for me, Solana is a top coin. But then again, you got this situation where Solana is doing something very similar to Ethereum, right? It's a top coin. But then again, you see what the problem is? There's an infinite supply. When this supply is locked, it will be a top coin for me. I mean, we know LTC is like the, what do you call this? The silver to Bitcoin being the gold, right? And you can see there's a lot of love there. There's a lot of love there, right? So that's what we need, basically. We need to know who the biggest chain is and support the biggest chain. And that's where we can preserve our wealth, right? And we need to know, obviously, not one other metric is that how decentralized is it? The more decentralized it is, the better it is, right? So I hope this kind of answers this one question everybody asks me every single time. Why is it that I'm always talking about Bitcoin being the number one, being the king? It's got nothing to do with Bitcoin being Bitcoin. It's got to do with who has the biggest chain, right? As you can see, everything is indicating this has the biggest chain, the biggest security network, biggest monetary, biggest energy input. That's what I'm supporting. I'm not supporting anything else. If this becomes the biggest energy and if this becomes a fixed supply, of course, this is the king for me, right? So this is what I wanted everybody to understand, that guys, I'm not against any coin, right? I personally make money in these coins, but when I want to preserve my wealth, I need to know that I'm on the most secure network. I hope this kind of answered your question. Other than that, I wanted to show you one other thing actually while I'm on it. Let me just show you this one other thing as well. This is one metric I wanted to show you, which actually I found quite fascinating. So this is on a daily. I'm not bothered about what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go. So on the daily, as you can see, the stochastic RSI is showing us that we're kind of high. That means we are gonna take a little bit of a dip maybe, or maybe even go higher a little bit and then take a dip, right? Either way, stochastic is high, plus the RSI is high. I'm gonna leave all of those. So we've got a bearish divergence forming here. As you can see, we're too high. We're gonna come down again. All of this is fine. I don't want to talk about those. Let's have a look at the weekly and see something else, right? On the weekly, and the weekly, you can see that we flipped over this blue line on the stochastic RSI and we became bullish, which is fine. But as you can see, we're heading towards that top mark. When we get there, we've got one of two scenarios. One, we get rejected here and we come back down, or we have a situation like this where it prolongs and that makes us go bullish and just explode, right? For a short period of time until this decides to come back down again. But that's not it. There's other thing I saw as well. This is the monthly. Now on the monthly, we can see we're very, very low. So what I'm looking for is this blue line here, right? So when we're looking at this, let me just zoom in. This blue line here to flip over on top, similar like this. When this flips over on the top, this is when the true bull market, true parabolic rise will happen. And this is what's going to explode the market towards the 100K, 200K, or whatever we want to call it, right? We're going to go towards that level. We need to see this, but looking at this and looking at the distance we have right now, I see a nice little gap here, and this gap only indicates one thing to me, that it's not ready. That means we might see this month close and this is still below, next month open, but this is still below. This tells me that we have approximately 1.5 months before this flips over, right? We have about 1.5 months before this flips over. Also, if you look carefully on this particular area, we had a similar situation, but it didn't, and it just prolonged itself. And this is back in 2018 to 2019. So we might end up seeing a situation where this could easily carry on for a little bit longer, a few more months, right? And obviously I've talked about this before, and if I take you back into the chart, right? If we can prolong this, it's actually okay. It's not a problem, provided we can stay above this trend line here. We should be okay. So somebody asked me earlier on, and I was actually making this for them as well. They were telling me what's the lowest we can expect, and as usual, I always say, guys, the lowest we should expect is 0618, which is the 43,223. If not today, maybe tomorrow, but today less likely, because as you can see, bulls have been in control quite a bit here. So I would say a few days we can expect this, and then obviously I'll adjust this as well based on where we are currently. So this was taken from this particular high of yesterday, and then the low that we had around here basically, and we use this metric. So that's what we're expecting. If we fall below this, then we still have this 42, 41, $42,000 level that we can hope for, provided we can bounce on these lines. We should be okay. It's absolutely not an issue. That's what I'm seeing. So just wanted to leave that there for you. And on the highs, as you can see, the 1618 again, you know, remember, I'm a big Fibonacci fan. So whatever I see, I always look at Fibonacci's. Also want to show you this particular chart where we did the bull trap and the bull flag. And if you look carefully, we got rejected just before we entered this red zone. And I talked about this. Every time we enter these red zones, we're going to see traffic, and every time we're in these yellow zones, we're going to be fine. So just after this particular area, as you can see, we won't really have much of a traffic or anything like this. We should be okay to fly away. Also on a weekly, I wanted to show you this. This is how insane this is, right? So on the weekly, as you can see, we attempted to enter this, but we got rejected just before entering this, as you can see here, right? But if you look carefully, this, we found support just above this particular area. This means we did not enter, which is actually very, very bullish, right? But obviously seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 candles on a weekly, we are expecting to see at least one red candle, you know, maybe next week, maybe the week after, but we have to see one, because if we don't see one, then it becomes very, very unpredictable, and we do not want to see this. We wanted to make it predictable. We want to go up, 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 and then have a nice little correction, and then continue up, because we don't want to run out of steam, if that makes any sense to you. You know, imagine a steam train, you know, you've just run out of steam and you're climbing up an uphill. You're not going to have enough energy to go up. So what you need to do is you need to reload, steam up again, you know, heat up your water or whatever, and then shoot back up. Remember, we're going uphill right now. Uphill is not easy to go, right? When we're going downhill, we don't need steam. We just go down. It's a free fall. But when we're going up, we need steam. And we, you know, for us to make sure we have enough steam to continue this move, we need to have a correction, a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a breather, and then shoot back up again. So this is the kind of stuff I'm looking at, guys. So so far, so good. I'm looking really cool. I am bullish. I'm waiting for this particular zone to enter. I'll be honest with you, exactly at the $47,000 level, on the dot, $47,000 level, I do have a little trade open. So that's going to activate as soon as we enter that, because I believe that when we do enter these zones, we are going to see a move which may actually, sorry, let me show you. When we enter this zone, we might actually see this kind of a pump confirmation and then shoot up again. If not, then we get rejected and come back down again. So this is the kind of stuff I'm hoping for, and I hope you guys all understand where we're going. You know, this trend line is key for us. We need to hold this trend line, whatever happens. So other than that, I'm not going to make this any longer. I hope this kind of answered everybody's question. Why I support this one. It's got nothing to do with this one. Any coin can have a Bitcoin label in it. I'm only supporting the one with the biggest, you know, human energy power going into, right? The one that's everywhere. That's the one I'm supporting, and this could be anyone. It doesn't matter. It could be any one of the chains. The biggest chain is the one I'm supporting, and the most decentralized chain is what I'm supporting. So other than that, guys, like, share, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, this is the kind of stuff we do. I like to answer community questions. If you have one, throw it in the comments for me, and I'll get back to you. If I have to make a live video or whatever, I'll shoot one. If I can make it in a 60-second short, I'll do it. But I'll always try to answer the community. I'm here for the community. I'm here to guide you guys. So all the FUD and all the you know, nonsense you see, that's not what you're going to get here. I don't do scripted videos. Only what I'm thinking or what I know or my experience. Nothing more. So other than that, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another one, guys, very soon. Adios, my amigos. I hope you have a great day, and do you know what? It's a good day to be in crypto. That's all I can say. It's a good day to be.